it's kind of nice because like we completely had to abandon ship last time, so we didn't get to do a proper closeout or anything else.
So what did we smoke last time? We smoked fuck me.
We are live, by the way.
I know, but I'm just trying to remember.
I'm glad you were looking at that way when you said that. No, don't.
He says,
no.
I'm not signing up for that job.
You put a ring on her finger.
If any of you watching remembers what we were smoking last time, remind my ass. Exactly.
How I felt about it is, it was good.
It was good. It smoked the whole way through.
It smoked the vast majority of the way through. It was one of those things where I had to put it down because it had enough smoke to it that I did not want to be searching around and blowing that smoke. I mean, it was kind of rolling coal for me.
Well, if you blow it in her face, she'll love you forever.
No.
So saith Lucky Strike.
So, yeah.
No, I wish because my brain is totally blanking too.
Yeah.
But I know
Totally
I made it
reset.
to the point that we
took it with us and we
I
finished
took it with me. I had to let it go out while I was doing the PA call.
Yeah, because doing paperwork with a cigar in your mouth is kind of awkward because then all of a
And
sudden
doing the paperwork on
you
the
start
box.
writing with the cigar and having the pen in your
It's like,
mouth.
It has something to do with the elections. This is something,
What am
I can't remember though.
All right. Well, what are we smoking tonight?
Well,
What are we smoking tonight?
Tonight, in honor again of the elections, we are smoking something ironic. There's a great German opera. I love opera. Called Faust.
Aha.
Faust is all about a German dude who makes a deal with the devil and then crawfishes on and jackhammers that devil in the ass. So saith Curly Bill.
So pretty much
from Tombstone.
You're agreeing with the devil to the devil's term and just going,
Yes, he got out of it. He's a lawyer, all that kind of good stuff. So we're smoking the Fausto because we're making a deal with the devil by electing people to run our county.
And we're going to be talking about lawyers tonight.
And we are. We're talking about lawyers and guns and money.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually talking about the position that's lawyers.
Oh,
But-
okay.
All right. So we if any of you guys are following along at home, we actually agreed to go bottom top, bottom or bottom middle to top, and then right into the middle.
Are we talking about Ron? With bottom, top, bottom,
I don't care.
I don't want to know.
I really don't care. It is what it is. And that's the way I left that shit in the military. It was like, dude, I don't care what you do. You're at home.
You are putting
In your room, so fuck that shit.
Yeah, I just don't need to hear about it.
You do what you do. So that means that we're kicking off with
the office we left off with.
Yeah.
the public
And that we
administrator.
ran off to go do.
Do.
The public administrator.
Okay.
So let's educate the public.
Educating. It has two functions. First, it deals with disabled adults that are not capable of handling their own affairs.
Yep.
Need a public guardian.
That need a public guardian.
Okay.
Number the second,
All right.
it deals with deceased adults
Okay.
that die alone with no next of kin immediately available. That could mean Vegas. That could mean Norway.
It could
And-
mean we don't even know who it is for a couple days.
Exactly.
I mean,
Figure it
that
out.
also could be for Rump because we don't know that they're here.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we make contact.
Or
And it's
they're-
like, all right.
Or they're otherwise incapacitated.
True.
Yeah, we've had that.
So then frontliners like us come in, lock up, inventory, look for your lawyers, guns, and money so that they can be appropriately secured and pass the next of kin.
As well as if you have funeral arrangements and funeral homes that you would like to have called that you already have signed off on. Please, if you do have that stuff on your refrigerator, is an amazing spot to place that
Exactly.
information.
Helps us out
Yeah.
tremendously.
It's like if your whole binder doesn't fit there or whatever, at least put a
My binder
My
is,
binder
Is here.
Here.
Yeah.
and then on the
And I
back
can
end of
find
things, the office handles the relative search. It handles the portions of probate. It handles all that kind of legalese, paperwork stuff that I don't know how to do.
Yeah. Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
You know, and that's kind of a big thing is because I was trained by you and Amy I was trained by both of you guys for the deputy PA position, and every time I go in there, you know what I see with Ginger,
Stacks and stacks of paperwork.
stacks and stacks of paperwork, organization where all of a sudden she has where she's progressed.
The board
into
of
that.
the
Yeah.
different cases and where they're at. Yeah.
But it is a 25% chance to really actually talk to her.
Because she could be on the phone.
She's always on the phone with somebody. With
A legal person,
with a lawyer, or with a
yeah.
Yep.
Next of kin, whomever.
So
yeah.
she every
the
time I
other
go in there,
party who she's been helping out.
she's working out hardcore. Yeah.
So let's talk about the two candidates. Talk about Ginger first, since she's the incumbent. Ginger's been doing this for what? One full
16 is
one full term.
Yeah.
And then was appointed or succeeded to the office before that.
Yeah. Well, no, she's had 2 full terms.
2 full terms. That's right.
Plus the partial, because she was appointed in 2016, ran in 2018, and then again in 2022.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
so this
but-
is her 3rd time running.
So she's been there for a while.
Yeah.
And before that, she was a deputy PA starting in 2014, I believe.
And was a dispatcher for Nye County.
Yes.
Well, it would be kind of nice. I mean, I love and hate term limits for that specific reason.
Exactly.
It is because you get a good one in there and you're like, I want them to continue.
Yeah.
And this is like what I wrote my debate speech about was literally term limits on government. And I was like, yeah, have term limits. Make sure that they can do up to 3,
Yeah.
but then they have to take that many terms off, and then they can try and go back in. Because if you do 3,
you don't get too dug.
and then all of a sudden they turn around and go, no, we want that person back because they were such a phenomenal person. Yeah.
Now, I will say the difference between, like, let's say we were talking county commissioner versus a public administrator. County commissioner is actively making the law. They're proposing new laws, voting on new laws. Public administrator is executing existing laws for the most part.
And that's
So-
the totality of the office is you execute
Exactly.
the existing law.
So I don't have as big of a concern on, somebody's been in office too long when they're executing the law.
Yeah.
So Ginger has been, like we said, since 16, handled literally thousands of cases.
Oh, yeah.
During that time period, there's been no findings of malfeasance. There's been because the office is audited on a yearly basis.
Well, the office is on a case by case.
Exactly. Each case is audited
Makes sense.
by the judges.
Yeah.
And then the county gets a report every year from the office. And there's been no findings of any kind of problems in the office since 16. Now, before that, there were tremendous issues. That's why Ginger got appointed, because they effectively, the other one got criminally charged.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, and heck, I remember Bill during the debates actually said something where he had talked to somebody in Vegas, mind you. It was a Vegas political, I don't know, ally, consultant, what have you, who he said, and he quoted, when he talked about the PA's office, they called it a license to steal. And that's based on bad characters
You mean
that have existed
Previously in office.
previously, either here or in other counties.
Red.
Oh, yeah.
Or the guy in Vegas that murdered a reporter.
Yeah.
You know, those guys.
Yeah.
So it gets a bad rap.
Yeah. So it's good to have.
Because nobody's happy with the office. Nobody is happy dealing with the public administrator.
Although I'm
I don't
surprised
know.
at how many people
I don't
are
know.
actually
I don't know.
thankful.
I've met people who have terrible parents who have either neglected them or anything else like that, and it's like, for certain people, I could see them being like,
the witch is dead.
finally, all right.
That's cold.
No, I'm serious as a heart attack.
Yeah, I get
It's just the truth. We've seen that, we've seen it out here in Pahrump, where all of a sudden a parental unit moved out here. They have little to no contact with their kids, and they potentially haven't had contact with their kids
Nope.
since they either moved out here or since the kids left here, because
Exactly. 'cause
they weren't there for them.
I get it.
So I can understand for other people, but good.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where you have to have tact.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I will say one thing, and this is a statement I make on a regular basis when dealing with families, because I do deal with families. Death brings out the worst.
Yes.
If there's any underlying unpleasantnesses anywhere within any of the relationships that are dealing with this, it brings out that worst.
Oh, you mean where it's like the Spider-Man meme, but except for like pointing at each other, you're all pointing at yourself, and you're just like, I should be getting
Gimme,
more. I
gimme.
should be getting this.
Uh-huh.
I did this. I did that.
I was
and then-
Granddad's favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if the paperwork says you.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
So clearly there's people in town that are unhappy with Ginger, and that is the nature of this beast.
Mm-hmm.
Not as unhappy as they were with one of the judges that they drew or tagged and everything else.
No.
The hilariousness is they repainted that. Now the gavel looks like a cock and balls. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, it looks like it's the one that's
Wow.
right there on Homestead down the street from the VFW.
Oh, I know
You look at it,
Yep,
and
it's a dick.
it doesn't
It's a
look
dick.
like a gavel anymore.
It's a dick.
It's a cock and balls.
I haven't been down that way. Now I gotta make a special drive.
Speaking of cock and balls, Homesteader, like we're talking about Ginger. We understand, but like a phallus that's gonna potentially fuck this up. When you're sitting there and saying, "Hey, yeah,
That's
I
what
like
you
this
really
deal."
feel, Jacob. Jesus.
I'm sorry, but I have heard rumor mills that this individual does not want to full-time this position.
No.
No. I have also heard he does not understand all the laws. There's
No.
been statements he's made that how can you possibly tell people that you're going to give
Away
dishes
possessions.
away?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You clearly don't understand what
The
the law says you can
dishes
and
Are
cannot.
not owned by
do.
the county.
anything and everything that's in that house then goes on to the next of kin. The next of kin can give you authorization for stuff,
Right,
Yeah.
to sell it or
to
whatever.
sell it, donate it, whatever.
dispose of it, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't just sit there and
Do
be
it.
like, oh,
Exactly.
nobody cares about dishes. Like, dude, we've been to some houses that have like old school china.
Oh, yeah.
We've been to houses that
Mhm.
all of a sudden you're like, what dishes? Everywhere in
Yes.
between.
There's a paper plate that's been reusing for 6 months.
Yes. But I will say one thing, because obviously we've all mentioned that we're all deputy PAs. As a deputy PA, I choose to serve a particular office holder because I have the trust in that office holder.
Here, here.
I have the trust that that person is not doing nefarious things, and therefore,
Well,
because ultimately I'm putting my
here
reputation.
it runs downhill.
Yeah,
I wouldn't work for a fucking person who's doing shiesty shit like that.
Oh, shit.
yeah, I'm putting my reputation on the line.
And
I
I can-
choose to work for
I
Ginger.
can tell the people
And
in Nye
therefore-
County that, and I think I speak for 3 of the deputies, that,
You speak for yourself. I'll agree with it.
okay, fair enough,
Yeah, exactly.
that
But
should Hochstetler be elected or the office eliminated, I'm turning my badge in. I'm going to keep my gun, though.
it's your gun.
It's my
Your
gun.
personal gun.
It's my
If
personal
you're done.
Well, I'm making reference to the meme there,
Yeah.
I'd have to
Put me
turn
in
in
my badge.
I'd have to turn in more than my badge. I'd have to turn in everything but my binder. Because when I first came on as a deputy,
Right.
Yep.
one of the things is I had to do the interview with her.
Yep.
That was a big time thing. Mike, you brought me up. You sat there and said, "Hey, I got this guy." She's like, "Okay, bring him in. I want to talk to him."
Right, because she vets her people.
She bets her people.
She doesn't want to send
You
somebody
got
out that
background
she doesn't
check.
trust.
We are a representative of her and that office, and I had to swear the oath
Yes.
Yes.
of that office.
And when you resign, because I've had to resign once before, over a problem with the sheriff's department, you get a copy of your rescinded oath.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like my daughter clearly was like, "Well, this is a big accomplishment for you," and she put that up on the thing.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
if a different person comes in, I won't necessarily just go, "Okay, here you go."
No.
In
but-
this particular case,
I want to hear what that person has to say, and depending on what they say, I might flip them to double bird. Okay, because I've been in the military, so at that point in time, like if I did that on my way out because of a commander or something else, now there's repercussions. This way, it's fulfilled.
Yeah.
Of no, I want nothing to do
Exactly.
I'm
with
making my
you in that
opinion
office.
very clear.
Yes.
so I think we're a 3-0 here for Ginger.
I would agree with that. I don't.
Yes.
She has the experience. She knows what she's doing.
She has the trust of her deputies. She has the trust of the community.
She
has the
gained
trust of a lot of
background-
people.
Of the community,
she
yeah.
went to the trouble of gaining the background in things like estate law.
And real estate law.
Oh, wait. One other thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have a holding area?
Yes.
Holding
Yes.
pen?
That she bought for this job.
So she has the capability and capacity because we do have individuals that are either at campsites or something of that nature,
An RV that has to be moved.
where she has a holding pen for
Or
them.
even if they have an apartment, their vehicle can't stay
Stay
there.
at the apartment. It's got to be moved.
It's all getting moved, and that means
The property has
More
to be
money.
moved out of a vacated estate, like an apartment has to be vacated because you don't own it.
yep.
Yeah.
So what that would mean is if she were not reelected, the county would have to foot that bill, and we're already having enough problem trying to figure out where we're stuffing RVs.
All right. I'm going to address the elephant in the fucking room.
Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Okay, I was going to do this later on, but I feel like it needs to be said now. We can talk about it a little bit more. Whoever the fuck the BOCC is going through and pushing to dissolve the right for us to vote
Ron Boscovich
into public administrator.
sponsored the bill.
Yeah.
You are so far fucking wrong for doing that. And I
Well-
think it's because you want to appoint, whoever the fuck you
So-
think is your crony,
I'm
to
gonna-
get the fuck in there. Which I think, if that's the case, you need to get the fuck out.
I'm going to go with the logical answer. Yes, it is. Absolutely cheating, John.
I understand that it's legal per NRS, but at the same time, I'm seeing more and more. So we are a larger facility capacity. If you know,
And, and that's the thing is when we hit 100,000, we have to bring back the elected office.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So here is what Mike's analytical, tactical, intel gathering mind has to say.
Okay.
So let's look at some nepotism here because I hate nepotism.
Yeah.
Ron Boscovich, the person who put this on the agenda,
Okay.
his daughter, Ronnie Boscovich, works for Brian Coonsey.
Okay. We're gonna
She's having an affair with one of the staffers in the Coonsey office.
allegedly,
Pretty well confirmed.
pretty well documented.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Is she the next one to go to the ethics board, which she can't
So,
penalize because all of a sudden the cronyism?
so if Coonsey loses his office, which is a legitimate possibility here,
Okay.
She needs.
Ronnie Boscovich is out of a job.
Okay.
She needs a job.
Oh. I understand it's taking care of your kids, but not to screw over the fucking community.
And he already took care of his.
Other
You don't sit there and say
possibility.
that. Like, it takes a community to raise children, okay? But if you're needing the community to constantly, or you need to be in power and control to consistently give your daughter a job,
The other possibility, this is the other possibility I've heard, is one Mr. John Falcon, convicted of drug possession, misdemeanor only though. So he's eligible for the office.
okay?
Has lost his job with the state because of his drug conviction.
Okay.
So John Falcon, Ron Boskovich's boyfriend, is in need of employment.
So you keep on saying Falcon, and all I can think of is the military, and that's
Blue
called a
Falcon?
Blue Falcon.
Yeah, he is.
And that's the buddy fucker.
Well, go for Bud.
Might be.
Go for Bud.
That might be. And that's kind of one of those things where, once again, I'm like, I don't want that taste in my mouth. Period. Just saying. Like, I do not want that to be appointed by the BOCC.
Exactly. And
And
take away the vote.
you ready? Here's the other reason why. If that person goes in, they're appointed, they go through. A couple things happen. One, the price
Goes
that
up.
the end consumer has to do goes up. Two, the people of Nye County are then paying for that position
Because it's payroll.
And any shortfall.
and any shortfall. Here's the other thing with that is a person who makes commission really wants to sell.
Wants to do the right things.
They
Wants to
want to do the right thing. They want to find a next of kin and everything else. Well, to dissolve the position, now you have somebody who's just getting paid to be there.
Uh-huh.
And I
Motivated
think
to help the people.
one of the quotes that was said was,
License to steal.
the county can then just take control of the estate
Of the abandoned estate.
if a person is not found. I'm sorry,
So they
you
have-
might as well be playing hide and seek with Helen fucking Keller. All right? Water, Helen, water. Because I honestly feel at that point in time, are they going to fucking look? No. Are they even going to
No.
try? We've already seen where we've gotten drawn into cases where all of a sudden the person died in Las Vegas, which a lot of our elderly, when they have to get
Hospitals.
They get flighted to Vegas.
heavy hospital care, go into Vegas, and then all of a sudden it turns into fucking
Tetrick
bucket.
clusterfuck.
Okay, you're like, is this a duck? Is it turkey? Or is it the fucking Cholula or whatever, the fucking tentacle dog?
Oh, the chupacabra?
Well, no, the one that
Rujulu?
yeah, where all of a sudden it has the squid tentacles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets really weird really fucking quick. So, all right.
Oh, my.
I think you said it best. All three of us are on board. Simpson,
Yeah. And what's
Simpson,
most important?
Ginger Simpson. As you see, I'm rocking the Simpson shirt right now. Ginger, appreciate it. You've been doing an awesome job up there, and I hope that the people re-elect you, and that way you can continue doing such an awesome and amazing job.
Because for me, ultimately, it's about the families,
All right,
Yeah.
and that's the best way they're going to be taken care of.
let's move up to
Moving to clerk.
Clerk.
county clerk.
A clerk.
That's
Okay.
clerk.
All right.
We got 3 candidates.
So we've had 2 out of 3 on the show.
Yes, we have.
So let's talk about the one we haven't had on the show.
Corey,
Corey.
who is the current
She is the acting. She's been in the
Appointed.
office for a while.
clerk.
She's the acting clerk. Now, she's one of those that I've not heard anything bad about,
No,
but I have also not heard anything
fantastic.
good about. I have heard nothing about.
I have
No.
heard one thing, and that she is very soft-spoken. And then I saw a sign for her the other day, and I went, she looks like she should be the lead librarian.
Hey, I love Kim. Kim is the best librarian we've ever had.
I'm just saying,
But-
her image and everything
Yes.
else, and then hearing that she's soft-spoken, I'm like, okay.
Like they almost, when they were at the debates, it wasn't the clerk's debate night, but they were having all the candidates introduce themselves, and they almost skipped her over.
Which-
And she wasn't outspoken, like when they came around the room.
Which,
Yeah.
for a clerk, isn't necessarily
A bad thing.
It's not,
thing.
you don't need somebody who's way out there.
No, you don't need a big personality there.
Other than, I do believe the clerk because of the voting aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
has
Get
to
out the
be
vote.
able to get people out there to vote, as well as push back if any other elected officials start to push in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing we also have is, I know there's always been concerns about observers and
And
people
election
trying
integrity and
and people trying to show up on election day and kind of disrupt elections. You need somebody strong enough to deal with that.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
I think she has been a wonderful caretaker. I think she's
I
done a
agree.
good job as a caretaker at the office.
I can
Okay.
say I do
In
like
Mark
what
Palm's
she's done
absence.
with what they've done with
I like what she did here
sample
with the
ballot.
sample ballot.
Yeah.
I think that was a good,
providing one that covers
good cost
all-
savings that covers everybody.
Yeah.
I think she's done a good job in this election cycle. But in my opinion, and this is Mike's opinion, I don't see her as being an advocate for Nye County. I don't see her as being an advocate for strong, secure, trusted elections. I see her as a good manager in the office,
Okay.
behind the scenes,
But not
but not the face of it.
Not the idea person, not
Not the
the
idea person.
not the CEO.
Yeah.
Not the
You're like
face.
you're more the middle manager. She did a good job, but
Yeah.
it's you have to make those decisions, and you have to make those choices, and you have to be able to advertise it and put it out there.
Which leaves us with Kayla and Andrew. Again, they were both on the show. They both interviewed very well.
yes.
They both have some very good ideas about what they want to do and some not so great ideas.
Big difference for them that I saw, and this is just me saying, Caleb Ball wants to push advancement in the voting. Okay,
Mhm.
whether that's being technology or anything else like that.
Reaching a younger population.
She is she was very adamant about helping out with that,
Uh-huh.
and
Yes.
seeing how difficult it was to hand count, and where there could be mistakes, not by the voters, but by the
the
volunteers,
Yeah.
exhausted volunteers, yeah.
who are having to go through and sort through that to do the count, and then all of a sudden, hey, you're having to take these and do scratch marks to do
Mhm.
that,
Uh-huh.
which I don't know anybody who's gone through and counted potentially upwards of what, 50,000 ballots?
Assuming we got 100%
That would be good,
turnout,
well.
it would be 60 plus K.
Well,
Okay.
no, because you have children and what have you.
Yes,
but yes.
I'm still sitting there and going, cool. So even if we got a 10%, that's 5,000 ballots
That's still-
that have to go
And
through.
you have 1, 2,
How many
3, 4,
offices? Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Plus all the state.
plus all the state.
Yeah.
And each one has to be counted individually.
So, and that's the big difference with that, is because Andrew sat there and he said, I want a dual count. If we do it electrically, I also want to see it in paper.
Well, and that's
And
the
there's
thing.
also a geographic challenge
Yes.
Mhm.
because most of our ballots happen here in Pahrump.
But
But
Round
we have-
Mountain exists.
Beatty and Round Mountain and Tonopah
Gab.
and Gabbs. And
Mhm.
our county seat is in
Tonopah.
Tonopah. So on election night, these places are
Hours
apart.
away.
Mhm.
Now,
I'd feel like it was kind of the last one where all of a sudden it was like, and tune in tomorrow to see who actually won the state.
in 2 weeks, we'll know.
Yeah.
And knowing Mark and being friends with Mark wanted to validate the electronic count against the hand count. That was his big push.
Was concerned about the
Was
integrity of the machine.
concerned about the integrity of the machine. That's why he
Yeah.
wanted the hand count. He wanted to do a validation. That
Mhm.
validation concluded, and there was less than a 1% difference between the two.
So then the question is, if you have an office that ends up being that close, then is that
Then
the
you
point
hand count.
to hand count?
Then go ahead through hand.
But it was, none of them were that close. It was well within a margin of a tired volunteer miscounting something.
Right. But we have in the past had offices
Yes, that were that close. Um,
But it sounded like he was like, let's do it from the
for
get-go.
everything.
for
And I'm
everything
like,
from the get-go.
Dude.
It seems like a waste of resources.
Yeah. It's sort of like sitting there and being like, every time I sit down to shit, I'm going to wipe 5 times. Okay?
No
Not
matter
like-
And use the bidet.
Well, it sounds like they're a shower, bath, shower type of person.
Yeah,
And with us being short on, supposedly short on water, that's fucking wasteful.
it is. It is.
So if you're gonna sit there and your initial is to do that, like, he seemed like a decent person, but at that point in time,
the realism.
the realism of that, and he definitely was pushing towards, hey, electronic is going to be voter fraud immediately from the get-go.
Right.
And I can understand that where there's been evidence of that in other states,
But not here.
in other areas where all
But
of a
the
sudden they're like,
start from that skeptical point is
it's kind of like, okay, because my big thing is then, hey, if you're gonna do that and you're gonna go straight paper ballots,
Yeah.
then at that same point in time, I'm gonna go, hey, dude, we've literally seen those get dropped off in a mail van, and being like, oh, by the way, in this
Here's 10,000
food
votes.
closet,
yeah.
I found these boxes.
Oh. We'll go with something even more concrete. Where California, they found like 1,000+ ballots in the back of a cartel member's car,
Wow.
unmarked, legal ballots.
You want ballots? I got the ballots for you. All right, just throw me a nice one, okay? You know, just a couple of dollars, and we can get these
Maybe
signed.
get my buddy out of jail.
Yeah.
No, I will say I'm going to highlight one of the things the prior clerk did because I liked him doing this. One of the things he did was helping to organize transportation
Oh,
for
yeah.
our elder
That works.
voters, you know,
That sounds like a function of the clerk
to be able
to help facilitate voting,
yeah, to basically
You know,
as long as it's available to
Well,
everyone.
you know,
yes,
you know how I kind of feel about this. You know how I kind of feel about this.
How do you feel?
those would be good outreach programs for, I don't know, these clubs or parties that are out here.
I agree.
Agree.
And just not asking what your fucking affiliation is. If
Agree.
you're nonpartisan or Republican or Democrat,
That's
Doesn't matter.
just get them there. That's
Yeah.
it.
that's
And you might turn somebody over to your party if you're actually being a decent human being and making
Yeah.
sure everyone votes.
And some of the alternate locations where they do like early voting and what
Yeah.
have you. Yeah,
All right.
So, all right, gentlemen, lady, what do we think, Amy?
I can say that all three candidates in this race, none of them I would be ashamed to have
None
as
of
the
them's
county
a hard
clerk.
no.
No, I think they're all good candidates. I'm going to give the edge to Kayla because of what she wants to do as far as voter education.
True.
What do you, Paul Jacob?
Caleb Ball. At that point in time, as I've said time and time again, we need to have those opportunities for the younger people of Pahrump. It sounds like she went through that a little bit. Through
Well,
She graduated from high school here, yeah.
Well, she went through, it sounded like the district attorney's office. She went
Yes.
through and did that. Knows a lot more of the background of the city than I think a lot of the people know of the city.
Yeah.
As the county in general.
Yes.
So at that point in time, I got to give it to Caleb Ball. The other two, like I said, kind of awestruck me. I understand that I'm younger, but when you're huge up on the electronics are gonna be tampered with, and it's like, by who? By you? Like, I understand, but at the same
Russian
time,
hackers,
It kind of sounds like the person who didn't want to get a cell phone in 2010.
Chinesians,
yeah, or
Yeah.
thought that everything was gonna die in Y2K.
Y2K.
Yes.
And I'm going, it's been 26 years, man.
Yeah.
And I understand the advancement
Okay,
of that.
where's
of
my
post
phone?
network. All right.
Uh-huh.
Hang on. Because I am torn, I'm going to use one of my patented methodologies.
Oh, jeez.
You're going to roll a fucking dice?
I am.
I'm going to encourage all the voters to try and figure out what you want.
I
And
think they both have good ideas. There's pluses and minuses to both of them. They balance out very nicely. So we're going to use the random number generator.
it's great for deciding what you're going to order in a restaurant.
Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Random number generator came up with an odd number. Caleb Ball is listed number 1. Here's the odd number. I'm going to back Kayla in this one.
Okay. So,
Because I think they're both.
so I think we're at 2.6.
Something like that.
We're at 2.6. Because, like I said, they're both good candidates. I like Kayla Ball. She interviewed very well. I like a lot of her ideas. I like a lot of her policies. I think she will make a great clerk. Andrew is a friend of mine. He's been in the lounge. He smokes cigars with me. We've had some great discussions. I think he's also on the right track on a lot of things. I don't agree with all of this stuff.
I understand.
So it's one of them 50-50s to me. Let's talk about some races that aren't 50-50.
District attorney.
District attorney.
All right. We touched about this a little bit when we were talking about sheriff. I'm going to put this out there real fucking quick. We have noticed that the sheriff has had a hard time, or there's been plea bargains, or there's stuff happening.
Just not done. Yeah.
Or the BOCC has been allowed to do something, then all of a sudden it has to come back because what they did isn't in line.
Accordance to the,
And then they have to go back and redo it again, or they have to put it up for a vote on a separate forum. And when we went through for district attorney, that was one of the things that was talked about.
Yeah. Both of them have been on the show.
Is that they have to go through. Now, Brian Kunze, very well polished. He knows what to say. That also kind of worries me, because if you know what to say, that means that probably you
There's
had to
something you're
say some
choosing not
shit like
to.
that before. You know,
Did Grid tell you this
I'm
is a
glad
peanut butter
that
sandwich?
I'm glad that he got some more backup, so that way we can actually have a district attorney that has an office as well as staffing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard previous DA,
I
all of a sudden
there weren't so many.
they weren't so many, and I wonder if that's part of the reason why even Clark County doesn't want to fuck with us, is because of not just our DA, but our current sheriff.
Could be. Now, I will state that before I make any other comment, that Coonsy was definitely an improvement over Chris Arabia.
Yes.
But then again, a three-legged blind cat would have been an improvement over Chris Arabia.
Okay. Helen Keller? Oh, that was the previous one.
Yeah,
that was the previous one.
Previous
Okay,
one.
okay.
This cat can actually still hear.
Okay, okay.
Having dealt with both of them, I have personally had dealings with both of them. As the current chair of the library board, Brian has been, at one point, our legal counsel, and Michelle is our current legal counsel for the library board.
Okay.
So I have dealt with both in their professional capacity, not as being prosecuted by them, but in dealing with them as my legal counsel for library board affairs. I have found that they were both very good.
Okay.
But I think that there is a better choice between the two of them.
Okay. Because I thought you were like, out of nowhere, we're going to open this up to non-partisan. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, so here's the thing that has rubbed me the wrong way on Brian Coons. Okay?
Yep.
His office was provided a literal slam dunk case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Video evidence.
Okay. All right.
Multiple eyewitnesses.
Okay.
Multiple witnesses that are paid to be eyewitnessy kind of people, security people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay?
I'm trying to run.
Observe and report type things. The drugs in question were tested at the lab in Vegas and came back for cocaine.
Okay.
The individual, his prints were on the bag.
All right.
You could not fuck this case up.
Well, you could.
If you brought it to court.
You could, but I'm not putting my dick in a fucking bag of cocaine.
No dick fingers?
No.
Okay.
Dude, if you've ever had sand enter into your urethra, that fucking shit burns. I've been to the sandbox. Don't know in. It happens. It's uncomfortable.
He was provided with literally an unlosable, unless you really wanted to, case.
That you didn't want to try.
But instead of trying it and going for someone who had a distribution level of cocaine, and putting a drug dealer behind bars, he pleaded out simple possession.
Ooh, and that's been a big time thing because our sheriffs, two of them, talked about drug issue,
and homelessness, and then drugs. Yes.
And for you to sit there and fumble a case where it's open and shut and then turn around and do that, I think that could disenfranchise our sheriff as well as our sheriff deputies.
Absolutely.
Which we have a retention issue with that.
Uh-huh.
So
I did all this work. I did all this legwork. I did all this investigation.
I asked you to do everything that you asked of me.
And still you blew it.
And you went,
And while so one of the things he says in his...
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Can I finish mine?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
Now, either Brian Coonsey's soft on drugs. That's one option.
All right.
Option number the second is, you know who the guy was? John fucking Falcon. Ron Boskovich's boyfriend. Brett Wagner's live-in.
Wow.
Okay? So either Coonsey is soft on drugs, or Coonsey is corrupt and in collusion to do a favor for a political ally. And if he's willing to do a favor for a political ally, he can be bought.
I won't say as hard so as say corrupt, but swayable.
Yes, Dave. Yep, the video. Yep, came out of the bathroom. Yep, boy was in the bathroom with him. Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, here's the thing. Either soft on crime or plot out for something.
Yeah. political sway.
Either way,
Either way,
it's not a quality
it's not
I'm
a
looking
quality
for.
I want in a DA.
Well, I mean, it's the same type of quality that, I mean, like, I wouldn't want that for the son of the president either, you know. If all of a sudden you had incriminating stuff on a laptop.
or cocaine in a cubby hole.
Like, where did that come from? Is it still fresh cocaine?
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been all the way back
Yeah.
from JFK. I'm just saying.
It could be Bill Clinton.
I was going further back, like JFK forgot about it because
Monica, you want to sniff this coke off my neck?
Oh.
once again,
Ugh.
sand in the urethra is not pleasant. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, go to your healthcare professional. If it's not your urethra that you have to worry about, make sure to get your prostate examined.
Oh.
Colon cancer is a leading cause of death for those who have to deal with it. It's the name of the podcast. Thank you, Matt, for saying what the fuck. All right.
Our
So-
WTF PSA.
Talking on the flip side. Good.
All right.
Okay, Amy was going to make a point before I
Oh.
finished.
And now I've.
Sorry, I had to put it on
My
pause.
point is, thank you. So continue, and I'll come back to it when it comes back to me.
I think Michelle, we need a fresh boot. We need a fresh blood in there. She is not that fresh of blood due to the fact
No,
that
she's been an attorney for
currently
quite some time.
working for that. For anyone who has had to work for somebody who you felt like wasn't doing a good job, to sit there and run against you, that speaks
Now,
wonders to me.
I'm going to go two more things that have come to light.
Oh.
I'd remember the first.
Okay.
Donations to campaigns. The financial disclosures.
Okay.
Brian Kunze is claiming that he took no money from the Meadow Waste guys.
And then Michelle
And that Michelle did.
is for the
Well,
Midlands.
if you look at the campaign donations, Brian took campaign donations from him.
You don't have to accept every donation that comes your way.
No.
Did he have a Freudian slip?
The mango,
No, because he sat there and said that she did, but he didn't.
Right, and he got
Is
this
it a
glossy
Freudian-
flyer
he
that
got a
says so.
glossy flyer, so this is not an accident.
Is this a
Like somebody had
Freudian
to like
slip?
proof that, right?
No, this is the Saul Alinsky accuse your enemy of everything you're doing.
Mm.
So there's that portion of things that rubs me a bit the wrong way. Whether you want the Meadow Waste, whether you don't, I don't give a damn. But somebody who
I do. I care about you guys.
well,
I'm glad that you have a voice and you choose to voice it. Just make sure that you voice it on election day and not just on Nextdoor app, Facebook, as well as bulletin boards at several different locations. I've seen that too.
Oh, yeah.
So my position here is Brian is in a position that could affect whether Meadow Waste can be here.
Oh, absolutely.
He is taking campaign donations from a company that is trying to get into this county.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a position that could make or break that.
Yeah.
That is taking donations.
Mm.
And then lying about it.
I wonder how many county commissioners essentially got donations from that same
We'll
group.
talk about that.
We'll get there.
All right.
But the lying is the issue I have.
Yeah.
Is
Wait. You're telling me that a DA lied? No.
well,
He's allowed to lie at the poker table, but he is not allowed to lie
exactly.
like this.
Lie at the poker table. Lie to your wife. Lie on your back. I don't care.
Lie to the IRS.
Lie to the other. We all do that.
I don't.
No.
No, I don't. Dude, I got audited once. I'm good.
Oh, I've survived my whole life so far.
And then like walking up to the IRS office and they're like, "I'm sorry, we only take correct change."
Oh.
And I was like,
I have 3 pennies. Does that
"Can I donate
give
the
you
rest
extra?"
of it?" And they were like, "You'd have to fill out these 5 pages." And I was like, "Let me walk down to my car and see if I have some spare change
Some coins in the.
to throw at you
If
that are in my
so I have 23 cents in my.
And with the penny shortage right now, you don't want that noise, okay?"
So there's that issue that I have.
You said you have one more.
And I have one more.
All right.
The dig on Michelle has been she doesn't have recent criminal background.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is that because he won't let her into the office?
That's a big part of it.
Pretty much, she brought in.
the other part of that is that denigrates the larger portion of what the DA does. The district attorney functions as the legal counsel for the county and for various county boards and for the BOCC itself, and handles lawsuits and handles adjudications and
And
handles
keeps the county's laws from being.
and helps write laws
Yeah.
and does all
It's the
those
law.
other portions of things that kind of don't make front page news.
Isn't she like one deep in that office?
Yeah,
though?
she's one deep in that office
Oh,
right now.
fuck. So she's been running all of that shit
All of that by herself. With down.
while he's doing plea bargains?
Well, and that goes to what, because I
And-
finally remembered my other point.
Okay.
Okay.
Didn't somebody ask for the numbers on his actual
That is
cases
correct.
that went to trial?
A FOIA request was submitted
Mm-hmm.
with regard to nothing about the cases, just simply
How
number of plea bargains,
Mm-hmm.
number of cases,
Mm-hmm.
number of cases gone to trial. FOIA denied.
Mm-hmm. And now one of the things he's claiming in his mailers and in his campaign is how many more prosecutions he has done than his predecessor.
Okay.
Congratulations. We can't, dude. That's like sitting there and saying how many mazes you've solved versus Helen Keller, because you guys have literally sat there and said the last one was abysmal.
And here's the question: is how many more arrests? How many more per capita?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's always the question.
How many people were arrested? How many people were going through? And then how many people were convicted?
So they have the substantial staffing on the criminal side that we were discussing.
Because I think it went up +3 per his interview.
Plus 3 to 5, I think. I can't remember. Yeah. And yeah, so.
Which it was 3 people that wanted to follow him.
Yeah.
Which, hey, good on him. That's good that you have adequate
Have a
relations to be
network
able to get back up in your office.
But it makes me question, when he, is touting, this tough on crime statistic, and then won't disclose numbers.
Or for plea bargains and things of that nature. And then, of course, Mike made the comment about how, hey, you had this open and shut case, and then you just plead it out rather than take it.
Touch it, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I don't really want to get this because this is going to get messy because the individuals that were there.
Okay, so let's bring this. I think we beat this dead horse.
Yes.
I'll throw mine out there. Michelle Nelson. Amy?
I think it's clear to me Michelle is my candidate.
Michelle Nelson.
So 3-0 Michelle Nelson. All right, let's go to District 4. Since there are only 2 candidates, and we want to make sure we get through this. This is
Well, there's 2 candidates in the primary.
There's 2 candidates in the primary, and there is 1 additional candidate
In the general.
in the general,
Okay.
which we won't touch because he's not on ballot. We'll touch that when it comes to the big
Exactly.
the big show.
But I wanted to make sure.
Whoa,
that
what do we
there is-
have?
No, it's
Head
big show.
versus head. If we have the head versus head, that's the big thing.
Why?
Because I thought that we had it to where all of a sudden, if you have the vast majority of that, no.
No.
No, you still have to face
Dude,
whoever the other party is.
Caleb Ball, I need you to come back in here and educate me again.
That only occurs, Jacob,
That's in the ones that are
in the
nonpartisan.
nonpartisans.
So if, like,
Okay,
for instance,
okay.
Joe McGill doesn't get 50%.
All right. Once
he's in
again,
the-
Caleb
yeah.
Ball, need you to come back in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So let's
apparently I screwed that up.
Education
so
with lack.
let's beat on this one a little bit. We got Deborah Thomas and we got Ron Bostovich.
Okay.
We all know how. I think we've beaten that horse to death.
Yes.
How we all feel about Ron.
I wouldn't call him a horse.
It is as much as a goddamn horse.
I'd call him.
Have you seen his face?
Santa Claus calls for him all the time. No, I'm just joking.
Do you see his face? A horse face. Fuck me.
It's on 50
You-
billboards in town, it feels like.
Aw, I'm so ready for those to go down.
Me too.
As well as for the city to like mow down half the hedges that are all the way up there. Because like even me in the smaller SUV, I'm looking and I'm going,
Like,
I
I
still can't see the rest of the road to be able to go.
Okay, let's talk about Deb.
Okay.
Okay.
I know Deb personally.
All right.
Me as well.
Deb agreed to be on the show. We had some scheduling problems, so she wasn't able to do it.
Is she the one that actually hit us up before the show and said, hey, scheduling conflict?
Yeah.
And let us know in advance?
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, and then she came to the anniversary event hoping that we could maybe split her in that night, but obviously during an
It's
anniversary
an
event, we can't
anniversary,
do it.
right? We can.
And we had a PA call
And we had a PA call. So.
on anniversary day.
The big knocks on Deb. Look,
Okay.
let's talk the negatives. She is a very quiet lady. Very intelligent lady, but a very quiet lady.
So it's like polar opposite. Well, no, because we'll talk about that once it hits the next one.
Yes. Very quiet lady. Very intelligent lady. The other knock is she's the vice chair
of the NCRCC.
of the NCRCC, so people associate her with Leo.
Which they are two independent
They are
people
two
who got
independent
independently.
Getting people involved in the party.
Uh-huh.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And
And if she is soft-spoken, then Leo needed to be there because
he's not.
Leo, I'm going to tell you this.
I love you,
are
buddy,
one
but you
loud
are
motherfucker.
And trust me, I know both of these individuals well enough to say they are not on the same page and a lot of the time. So it's not that she is.
Deb is one of those people
Public
that
discourse.
follows,
Back and forth is the best
in my
way to do it.
opinion, follows the TR doctrine. She speaks softly, but when she does speak, she carries big weight. She's also the only one who was willing to pick up that job during the time of internal conflict within the NCRCC,
Okay.
where there had been some significant changeover in the board, but was
Mhm.
willing to take up first the secretary position and then the vice chairman position.
So continuously has stepped up, has played a
Growing role.
in that, and has had a chance to hear from the Republicans in this community on
How
what
they
they
feel.
want, how they feel, and whether they feel disconnected from their people that they voted in,
Mm-hmm.
or so she's listened to the bitch gripes and complaints.
Yes, she has.
Oh yes.
And
And it's
I know
not been
she-
the direct face of that.
bitch Reichman plan.
And by being the person who's softer spoken, you're more likely to listen.
Oh shit, more approachable.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, you know, if
And I'll
speaking
go
less.
one more positive on Deb. I reached out to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
When the whole vote thing for PA hit the agenda. I asked her, "How would you vote?" Her answer is, "The people need to choose. It's a voted position. It needs to stay that way."
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't like the people need to choose. Like, okay, we'll put it on the voting ballot on whether people want to vote for
But
it or not.
somebody on Facebook had incorrectly claimed.
That she was in favor of.
Ah,
Yeah.
And that person was traced back to being in the Boscovich camp.
so we have Ron Boscovich, who, as you have said,
See the last 12 shows.
has chaired that.
Yes.
I know he was elected in 22. He was
Yes.
elected in 22 in a time of a lot of conflict. Quite frankly, there were, Leo, again,
Leo being lightning rod.
but you're a lightning rod, and it was a very contentious race.
Okay.
And, because of that, he was able to get in based on people, basically it was more of a dislike for a candidate than a like for him.
So now,
Now we're coming 4 years later.
I'm going to ask the question, just because I haven't lived here that long. I'm asking,
Yeah.
did Ron Boskovich's daughter get a job there before or after he was elected? After.
So, Mike is a fan of these dichotomies.
Mm.
Okay.
I
So,
got one for Ron, too, I
I
believe.
got one for Ron. John Falcon pled out to possession of cocaine.
Okay.
John is known to be Ron Boskovich's, or was at the time, main squeeze.
Okay.
Lived
Living in
the
his
same
house.
household.
Living in a 2,300 square foot house.
Okay.
Okay? So, one of two things could be happening. Either Ron is such an idiot and oblivious to his surroundings that he was unaware
That somebody was
that
snorting
that the
Splenda.
guy he was having sex with and sharing his bed.
Once again, don't care about the bedroom stuff.
No,
Here's the living
I'm
area.
talking proximity here.
Okay.
Because I could live in the same house as somebody and live in opposite ends of the house, and it'd be a little harder to know exactly what they do in their own private space.
Okay.
But sharing the same private space. He's either unaware or uninformed or doesn't want to know that somebody is doing drugs under his nose.
Or
Unintended.
he did know.
Ron is fully complicit
Yeah.
in somebody having distribution levels of cocaine.
For all you fuckers out there, I think we covered this from the get-go, where we were saying that that call went radio silent, which that means that you have to be in a position
To silence things.
to silence
radio.
the sheriff's
Now,
office.
Mind you, we were the ones that broke that damn story.
From making any radio announcement about it
Yes.
or
Who is
anything
there?
else
Yes.
like that. And then if you guys are wondering, Mike, I thought you reached out to several other people, and then they said we're not touching that with a 20-foot pole, let alone a 10-foot pole.
And then we get
Yes.
And then our former producer of the radio show got a call
Got
as soon
threatened.
as we broke it, the news
he got
on
threatened in
this
person.
show.
he got threatened in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we got handcuffed, handshake by Brett Wagner, who also lives in the same house.
Okay.
But, just saying. So let's call this one to a vote.
Deborah Thomas.
Deborah.
Deb, easy.
Yeah.
Ron, you know,
Ron.
you hate me, I hate you.
I dislike you. I don't want you dead, but I want you
Yeah.
out of office.
I want you out of office.
It
It stinks.
after that, going through and doing that,
And don't forget the willful access complaint.
I have shared pleasantries with you where I chatted with you,
And he didn't know who the fuck you were.
when doing that, and the fact is that I don't think you are a prime example of what Pahrump and Nye County needs
Mm-hmm.
in a county commissioner.
Not at all.
All right, that leaves
The most congested race.
oh,
Yeah.
All
a
right.
lot of people on that.
District 5.
Let's start with the incumbent.
Deborah.
Deborah Strickland.
Striking for land.
Well
I
played.
am trying to think of something nice to say. I really am.
She actively shows up to meetings. The only problem is that she actively talks over anyone at those meetings if they are even slightly at opposing ends of her. I saw her talk over Joe McGill when Joe McGill was asked to be there to talk about what the department needs, what the county needs, things of that nature. And she interjected so many times to the point that Joe sat there and said, "You asked me to be here, but you're talking over me every time
Wow.
I attempt to answer your question." And we saw previously that she wasn't doing that with the other board members, but she did it with Joe. And that's one of those things where I sat there and I said it, where I was like, it might not just be the district attorney that's getting in the way. It could be the BOCC
The board, yes.
that is
Well,
getting
I'll
in the
agree.
way of our sheriff's department and doing that and trying to put the squeeze on them. But she's also going through, I mean, I'll give her this. She is trying to uplift our Nye County community by spending millions of fucking dollars on a
13 million in a hole.
fairgrounds,
And Fields.
on fields.
When
in-
we.
Oh, wait. At one
Fields.
point in time, a civic center, which, Ian Bain, I know that you hate those fucking words right there because you put it out there in so many things. And I'm going to get back to you in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about him when we talk about stuff.
But I'm sorry. We need our roads need repaired. Okay? Our roads need repaired. And not just twice a fucking year.
With a cold
because
patch.
It got cold and it popped the little butt plug out.
That's District 4. That's District 4. Butt plugs in District 4.
Oh, I think they do butt plugs everywhere. Oh, you're talking.
I'm talking about the road repair, which you're still facing that, dude. Going to your house, I have to
To dodge
I
the
have to
potholes.
also straight through Dodge, and I still have rims and tires, let alone the undercarriage of my car. That's bullshit.
So,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
care about that. We care about what, because we broke it on this where I was sitting there and it's like, do we really need 8 ball fields here? We have baseball fields
Well,
and then little league fields. We just put two
And there's
or
a-
I actually
two t-ball fields in.
I actually figured out
Right
what
up
their
here?
plan is. Because they're planning
To
to.
fuck over everybody in this
No,
country?
I figured this out.
No.
Oh, okay.
We have an answer here.
Shut the fuck up.
So they're going to have the fireworks this year right here by the 4 fields there at Ian Deutsch. So they're just planning for when they destroy those 4 fields that they still have fields.
I'll actually go one step further. I'll go one step further on this, and this is going to indict one of the other candidates here. Jeff Snow
Oh.
made a video over at Petrick
Okay.
talking about how it's a new shopping center,
Oh, yes.
how he wants to sell that land, ditch Petrick Park completely, tear down the
Bob Roode as well.
community-funded Bob Roode Center.
Oh, you mean the one that already has soccer fields on it? Like
Right.
dedicated
Yes.
soccer fields.
Yes.
The one that has...
Swimming pool.
Oh, shit. Fuck you.
The swimming pool
So
is.
that's why they need the fairgrounds.
Because they want to tear down one of the most widely used areas that's close to commerce, that already has full parking, that literally onfluxes everyone in that shopping center right there.
And do you know who's a land developer that has the rights on that area?
Yeah.
Deborah Strickland.
But I wonder, was she in office when they tried to shut down the place that we use as a voting center?
Yes.
Here's one of my concerns too, if they did turn that commercial and no longer had a park there. So, I know they've been fighting the whole, the homeless are in Petrick Park. The homeless are in the park. Where are they going to go?
Into your community.
Into other areas. Maybe they're going
Okay.
to end up at Deutsch. They're going to end up
So,
everywhere else.
Right.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
with a $13 million deficit under her watch,
They're not going to go away.
with her lining her pockets from various land developments that the county is making happen. Allegedly. The fairgrounds debacle. From the outdoor shooting range that she was
Oh, that
on
one, I forgot about
her land, that she wanted the county to buy the land from her to set up an outdoor shooting range.
You mean when we have a private shooting range right there,
Yeah,
and then we
the
have
public is using
wait,
Second
we have a
Amendment, yeah.
public range that's
Bella Vista, or any of the desert around the entire frickin' town.
Well, except
the
for-
BLM sits there and
Except for
specifies you are not authorized incendiary rounds, which I thought was hilarious. That you can shoot in the dead heat of summer.
But
You cannot have a fight. Never mind. That's the whole thing with
That's
the fire
different.
chief.
That's different.
yeah,
That's the whole thing with the fire chief.
during the ban.
So for me, Strickland is an absolute hard no.
Yep.
She is too invested in her own lining her
Self-endeavors.
pockets.
We are going to be running a little bit late today because
Yeah. They're finished.
We're going to finish this.
we're going to finish it today.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got.
Ginger, please don't call us out today. No, not now.
We love you, Mark. Where are you?
15 minutes.
So on to Snow.
Okay. Well, you did talk about him already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know
I
who
don't-
else talked about him a lot?
Ian Bain.
Ian Bain. And I'm sitting there and going, I haven't really seen anything from Jeff Snow himself.
Promoting Jeff Snow.
And it seems like it's been a constant push from Ian Bain for Jeff Snow.
Yep.
And I'm like, the only person who chases that much snow, Ron already talked about.
So here's one of the issues I have, and I have been deleterious. I have not done my homework. I need to do better homework. But
Okay.
there's so much homework to do. Now my question is, under campaign finance law, can the campaign to elect someone then take that money and give it to somebody else and
Redirect.
fund their campaign with it? Because
So if you get donations for your campaign, can you then shift part of your campaign funds over to another person to
Get a
get
totally
them
different
elected?
to pay for their ads.
I think with that, we had to deal with this on the last presidential election,
Uh-huh.
and that's the reason why the Democrats went through and said, well, we can't elect him. We can't put him back up there. So we're just going to drop it down
Here's
because
his
she's a
vice president.
VP, and therefore she has direct ties
transfers.
to that. Now, last time I checked,
She was on
there
the ticket.
is no VP county commissioner.
No.
There is no, like, he's the
There is the
primary,
chair, but
and then there's
He's not in any commissioner position, so
so, like, I'm sitting there and I'm being like,
campaign finance is murky law, and I don't want to dig, but I have seen a great many ads for snow paid for by the campaign to elect Ian Bain.
wow.
GCon just commented, yes, you can donate to other campaigns
thanks,
with your
GCon.
own campaign account. Kind of weird.
Okay.
Yes, agree. Kind of weird.
Thank you, GCon. Thank you for being on top of that, but it just seems interesting.
Oh, shit. I was just watching the video earlier. GCon found out about Deborah Thomas.
Yeah.
And then I also found out that there was another one up there who's going through, who's not on this portion, but will come in once it gets
the
through.
general. Yes.
Yeah. GCon's a great group. Grassroots conservatives here in Nye County. They're top notch.
Yes.
And a friend of the show, which is awesome. Thank you for watching. Okay, but it just seems interesting that you have these cabals building.
100%.
Yeah.
The Boscovich-Strickland cabal, the Bain Snow cabal.
I don't want my commissioners to be in any cabal. I would like them to be independently minded with the thoughts of themselves and their constituents.
Wait.
First.
I would like them to enjoy a nice meal together with, I don't know, hold it in public forum so that way they don't take 2 fucking hours in the midst of a BOCC meeting. Like,
to go to lunch.
You mean to lunch?
Yeah.
And then have potentially private conversations?
With the violations of
Open meeting law?
Just saying. Just saying, like, if you're sitting there eating and saying, hey, we're taking
with the county manager and the district attorney, or a member of the district attorney's office, and a council member, and a guy with 14 grams of cocaine, allegedly.
Wow.
Yeah. So, because of the Petrick Park, because of the cabal I see forming, because of... Now, he's got some good ideas. I'm not going to get him wrong on that. He's got some good ideas.
Okay.
I can't conscience Snow.
Okay.
In my opinion. Just for those 2 reasons.
If you have somebody else paying for your campaign left and right, that's
current member of the BSDC, it looks like a voting block.
Yeah.
It looks like a violation of open meeting law waiting to happen.
Well, if it's just the 2 of them.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, moving on. Matt Sadler. Matt sat on the show.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
And Matt interviewed very well on the show.
I do believe he actually came into the cigar lounge previously.
Yes, he had.
And that was because he had a conflict where he wasn't able to come in and be on the show. And then later on, he asked to be on the show.
Right.
Which I was like, I've already heard you once, and I want to hear more.
Right.
Which is
good.
Unique for me, because the vast majority of politicians and things of that nature, as soon as they open up their mouth, it's like they open up their butthole, and all I hear is bullshit. But from him,
it's not.
No.
It wasn't. He actually gives a shit about District 5.
He does, and he's a libertarian. Well, he's a Republican, but leans libertarian.
Okay.
Small government. Super small government.
Small government. Hey, we shouldn't have this.
Rosemeyer police.
Which goes to our how did we end up 13 million in the hole, and maybe we shouldn't be doing those things.
Yeah, but one of the things I liked from him is he's like, one of the things that we need to focus on is not more homes, but more commerce.
Yes.
Right.
That's
we need
nice.
To focus
I like
from
that.
sustainability for taxes.
Right.
Not this. We get our
2,500 people or 2,500 houses
from initial sale of the home, and then when the house is sold again.
And ultimately,
and there's nothing for them to do here, and there's nothing for them to buy here, and there's nothing for them to work here, and
that whole thing with Smiths. I've been hearing it since I moved in. We're gonna get a super Smiths. We're gonna get a super Smiths. And then every time that we have any big event out here, what happens? All the water's gone, and I mean the bottled water.
Bottled water, yes.
The toilet.
All of this is gone. I don't know how many times I've gone up there. And I'm going to say this. White people taco night. And
why is the rum gone?
All the refried beans are gone. The ground beef is gone.
The shredded cheese.
The shredded cheese is pretty much decimated. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, man. And, every time that I sit there and see
Everything
on
okay?
the
Yeah.
Nextdoor app,
Getting his food.
Gotcha.
on the Nextdoor app, I'm sitting there seeing people time and time again who would like something down in District 5.
Oh, you mean like a Target that we tried to get in the BOCC with Strickland and Boscovich on it, killed?
Oh, okay. And because we have swaths of land down there.
Us.
And one of the things that
Excellent.
he also talked about with that was, I don't know, having a Southside Park.
It's
Because
actually a park.
Kellogg
actually a
Park
park.
that actually supposed to exist. That's in
That actually
District
is
5.
supposed to have stuff.
That's
and
supposed to
not
have
just
stuff.
be-
That never got
Yeah.
stuff.
but it seems like District 5 is pushing also in lockstep with Strickland for everything for the fairgrounds. Which is still means, from somebody who lives in the deep, dirty South, and I will say the deep, dirty South, because of the wind that we just had, I had to do a lot of sweeping because of the wind, the dust off the dry lake bed, and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. When I sit there and they're like, I want to go get something to eat, which is something that he said was
30 minutes later.
no, not, well, 30 minutes if you drive in partially to town and then drive back.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a 18 to 23 minute, depending on traffic and the lights, all two of them that you hit, to get from the deep, dirty South to get to a food restaurant and then come back.
Yep.
Okay? Which at that point in time, thank you, China Go-Go, for actually serving it piping hot because it's ready to eat once I get home.
Good normal temperature.
Because if not, then I would be in a world of cold Chinese. Which,
Yeah.
in my college days wasn't bad. My military days was amazing.
That's great for leftovers. That's not how you want it when you first eat it.
Yes, Matt.
You know that there were no restaurants anywhere near your house when you bought it?
I did really quick when I called for pizza, and I went, well,
Nobody delivers.
sucks to suck. I own up to that. But the problem is that I also thought that Cherry's still had their restaurant
An actual
from this time to this time, but the couple of times that I've gone in there,
The fish taco is wonderful.
Yeah, they have 24-hour
the bacon is freaking phenomenal. But I, hey, how you
Wait,
feel? I got kielbasa in my boots. Yeah. Yeah.
So Sadler.
So Sadler, and then of course we have this last one.
Brett Fish.
Fish.
Brett Fish.
Now I like Brett.
Okay.
I think Brett is an individual who's tired of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like many of us.
Was willing to put his money where his mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
Try to push his ideas
Okay.
for fixing the bullshit that he saw.
Well, the big thing that I saw for Brett Fish is that he's like, it's your land. You should be able to do with it what you want to do with it.
I think he got, if I remember right, he got burned by code enforcement.
So,
Yeah.
And
Which means
really
that-
wants to fix that problem.
Well, part of that is also like you have to be friendly with your neighbors.
Yes.
If you're good with your neighbors, they watch your back. They don't fucking
turn
call
you
in.
in.
They come and talk to you. And
Yes.
that could be because, hey, you had somebody move in and got tired of potentially an eyesore or got tired of whoever you had around at the
Mhm.
house or something of that nature. But at the same time, I think he's more running on the aspect of I don't feel represented and I
agree.
feel bamboozled rather than I'm ready to lead. I think he's running on a good premise of I don't feel represented,
Uh-huh.
and I think that the fleece has been pulled over a lot of our eyes because a lot of us did not realize about that international building code
No.
until it was brought up for the county,
Yes.
not just
Pahrump.
Town.
but it was previously just for
town.
Pahrump, and then all the rest of us, even the people in Pahrump, were like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Wait, what?
What do you mean this fucking applies to us? Which goes back to what I
Yeah.
said. Everyone who's elected, please spend the first 30 fucking days realizing
Reading
what
through
rules
everything
that
we
we
have.
have on the books right here and now rather than doing power creep and applying more and more rules.
Don't put patches on patches.
Yeah. Okay.
Fix the root causes.
Be more, make sure that we get rid of
Know what's
bad
going on.
code in computer get rid of bad code, not just patch it, okay? Because sooner or later, the dam is going to breach, and then the entire town will be flooded in bullshit.
Yep.
So,
in computers, we call that technical debt.
yes. What I'm going to say here is not a dig on Brett, but I see him as a one-trick pony. I've talked about this with Dan Pennell.
Okay.
That, yes, his one trick is a good idea. We need a drug task force for, the sheriffs. We need to deal with the code enforcement problem. The problem is that the entirety of the BOCC operations and what they do isn't that one trick.
It's not just Pennell.
No.
And it's not just Perot. I agree with it. We need code reform.
Mm-hmm.
We desperately need that. But there's more to the job than that.
Yeah.
And if that's all you can focus on, and I talked to our buddy Jason DeMann. Remember Jason? Jason, howdy, buddy.
Yep.
You have a great love for the animal rights and protecting the animals and dealing with the animal shelter problem. And when we, have chatted a few times, there's more to the BOCC than that.
Yeah, you just can't, I understand people are animals, but, you got to care about the human aspect of it, the environmental aspect of it. And that came out of my mouth.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
We got to live here.
True. We got to live here, and that's a special shout out to the people who go through and organize the cleanups for us.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that because we've had BOCC members who sat there and voted in these dump fees.
Oh, yes.
And then we called
And
that
then
into question.
Decided during election
And
year.
now during an election year, they're like, maybe we should dial that back. I was like,
Maybe we shouldn't have done it in the first place.
y'all should have thought of that before you put it on there. And I understand. You're like, well, they were running in deficit. Bitch, now we are also $13 million. $13 million. And guess what? Not only that, but our school board is running in that deficit too.
Yeah.
And they're looking at cutting teachers, not administrators.
Yeah. No, I can say one thing for,
Dude, I
especially
almost
for Brett.
spoke French right there. Dude, they had it right back in the day. I'm just saying. And now, I'm not the person to sit there and wish death upon you, but you shouldn't be in office anymore if you keep on screwing pooch like that and then hearing from constituents.
I hear that's a good way to lose about 10%.
2 of their parking lots, and I'm like, unless it was a high school, which we only have one, the only people driving in those parking lots is either dropping off their kid or they work there. And as long as it's not in the main drive where you drop off, nobody really gives a shit about potholes in there. So if you spend $6 million repainting a parking lot that wasn't bad,
how many salaries? Yeah.
you literally just cut our teachers rather than your administrative fee.
Yeah.
Elko, which is a similar size.
As far as number of people.
Number of students.
Yeah.
Run on a quarter of the administrators that we do.
Wow.
They have 3 people in their office.
Yeah.
Versus our,
Okay.
Wait, I had one more
Are
thing.
you saying that we have more school board advisory positions that are paid than we do
district
BOCC?
office.
Yes.
District office.
No, the district officer people. The board is not paid.
But like the HR people at the district office, the curriculum coordinator.
What I'm saying is all of those administrators, we have more of those for our school board than we have BOCC members.
Yes.
So we have people that are making decisions for the entire county on taxes, this and that, but we have more people in the schools
Administrivia, yes.
for the same county.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing
Let's think about the numbers. I know we all care about kids. Well, some of you do. The others just don't give a shit. I've seen your next door app. But that's pretty fucked up. And I understand that it's a large county. There's a lot of schools, but they're only representative of the children in here, not everyone in this county.
Yes.
Mhm.
And yet we know where there's a bloated budget. It's an administrative because
And
people.
they're refusing to cut that side. So
Yeah.
the administrators are refusing to cut that side.
Well, I can understand. Nobody wants a second circumcision, but at the same time, if you're that big of a dick, you might need one.
Yeah. So, Amy, you had something.
Yeah, I did. Just one final thought
One
on
final thought.
Brett, specifically, but just my general take on commissioners is one of the things that we talked about a little bit with some of the others is voting blocks and perceived alliances. My number one thing that I would want in a county commissioner is somebody whose vote isn't for sale. The highest
Oh,
bidder. And I could say, yeah, I don't want somebody who's going to vote, who's going to be like, oh, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. There's some of that going on, but I prefer somebody to think on their own merits and come to their own decision and vote accordingly what's best for this community. And I can say
for this county, yeah.
on the county commissioner D5, there's 2 out of 4 of them I believe would do that, and there's 2 out of 4 of them that
I think one is
won't or don't.
I think one is currently doing that. I think one of them right now is literally not looking out for the county
Exactly.
or the community, but is literally looking at what best benefits me and my other
Yeah.
My other friend.
But I can say that,
county commissioners.
in D5, I can say Brett and Matt both strike me as people who will
Are not for sale.
not be in some of those shady alliances.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right. As chairman of this board,
Oh, wait. When did we decide that?
well, I've been the acting chair.
Hey, just because you're in the center does not mean that,
We
okay?
didn't elect anything, did we, Jacob?
I didn't elect anything.
I didn't vote for
Okay.
him.
The person who's been the longest voiced on this podcast, which we do have some constituents that have constantly and consistently said that you should be silent.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
They should be
As such, Amy, what do you think? The only way that they can hear you right now is if you're being picked up by our microphones. So, Miss Amy,
Who am I backing for District 5?
yes.
I am definitely backing Matt Sadler. I think he has the right ideas. I think he's in touch with the rest of the community in D5 there, and I think his views line up the best with where we should be going and what the community wants.
Damn, I'm kind of speechless because I was gonna say a similar thing. Yeah, Matt Sadler. I'm impressed with him. I'm hoping. I am like, please God,
because he's your district.
yes. And the factor of it is one of the largest districts. In
Both by population and geography.
future growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2 in geography.
Like-
Mountain Falls and then Indian Reservation. Both of those build films
All those houses that
are actually getting built. They were approved by all that,
Right.
and everybody's worried about water. And yet, this current BOCC is the one who keeps on
Oh, you
approving
mean
that
the well driller?
because
Deborah Strickland, the well driller?
is it her or
Deborah
her
Strickland?
husband?
well,
Well,
I mean,
I just want to make sure because it's
Strickland Well Drilling. There we go. Strickland Land Development.
oh, you mean the
Strickland
one that
Construction.
owns that entire lot from this street to that street, right across the way from Lakeside Casino?
Yeah. Yeah.
That has a whole bunch of trailers and things of that nature for sale. You see it plastered all on that side, and then you see your alternative options on the other side. Oh, yeah.
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 I was just saying, like, I understand she literally has that, which makes me go through and I look back at District 4 and District 5, and I just go through and I'm like, man, it seems like one of these people is in constant league with the other one.
Oh, you mean the one that got the same text message with the same verbiage
Within
Within
3 minutes
3 minutes of each
Oh,
from
okay.
the same consultant.
from the same consultant?
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
so they both hire the same people. They both go through with that, and yeah.
it was the exact same text.
Like the verbiage
I'm
was simply the
you
same.
need to at least tell your consultant to stop phoning it in. Frankly.
Similar to what they're doing because they're not listening to anybody. Because as one of the things that Matt said was when he tried to get a hold
Oh yes.
of his commissioner,
Elected.
it seemed like it was out of reach
Uh-huh.
or pushed to the side.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like an Adele song here. Or no, is it Lady Gaga? Telephone?
Gaga's telephone.
From his thing, it sounded like he attempted via telephone, email,
Telefriend?
I
Telegram?
think he might have even gone old school and sent a letter.
It's like, do we have carrier pigeons here, anyone?
Slow signal.
We've seen plenty of those in town.
No shit. So last and least here, a couple of things.
Oh, I had to make sure I turned you back left right again.
So one of these candidates had the guts to show up on the show and be questioned.
Uh-huh.
Had the guts to show up to a private get-together with a bunch of the constituent and non-constituents.
Mm-hmm.
One of these candidates has come out and said that he would not vote for a PA shift
Mm-hmm.
to a VOCC only.
Another one shared it.
One of these candidates does not have a business in his district for him to funnel money into. I don't know about the other three, but I know there's one. I only have one choice. There's only one good choice here, in my opinion. Matt Sadler. So I think that's again a 3-0.
I think that's unanimous.
Yeah, that's unanimous.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no 2-point anything here.
once again, when you have somebody else who's campaigning on your behalf, who's already in a seat, if you are potentially profiteering off of your votes and not reclusing yourself, and if you're just fucking fed up
And just not really.
and wanted to put it out there, he has.
And good job on that.
He has done a really good job of being like, yo, the county is filled with bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And I appreciate the fact that you have said that. But one trick pony. That.
Are you ready for the big pond?
Yeah, Matt Sadler. I am really looking forward to the general election and going through. You have my vote. Of course, I am nonpartisan. Just because I am a constitutionalist. I do not lean either Democrat or Republican for that aspect of it's just it is what it is. But at the same time, with the party system that we have, rather than jungle vote, apparently that's the big thing that's going on in California right now that's getting sweet pooch. I have to rely on our listeners, our people.
Republicans at D5.
Yeah.
Republicans at D5, Republicans at D4, to make the decision on who you feel should run in the next portion. So with that being said, District 5, realize every time that you put in a vote for the person who is on there right now, you drive past that as you're going up Homestead. And although they have a large portion of business here, should you sit there and trust them to vote for you rather than their business?
And should you need attention on an issue that concerns you, will your phone call be returned?
So finally, now that we've made our deal with the devil and covered all county offices,
how do we feel about this, Foth?
how do we feel about Fausto?
It was really enjoyable. I did have to do a relight, but that's also because
we're talking.
I punch cut.
Oh yeah, you don't get as much airflow.
So I don't get as much airflow. We did a long talk, but the thing is that I've done very hard draws on this, and that's not. I enjoyed the flavor, so I wanted more. So I got it super hot at one point in time. I got it down to band. I would definitely smoke this again.
Yeah.
Amy?
I agree. I'm right at about the same point in my cigar, which I know a lot of times I'm a little further along, but I've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
Been jaw jacking.
I think okay. I'm a married man. my manager for my comedy is my wife. She's the one who pushes me out the door all the time to get done. Sharon Sadler just wrote in, said thank you, and of course she said
vote.sadler.com.
vote.sadler.com. I had the pleasure of talking with her. If you think that Matt Sadler cannot listen to you, believe me, he has heard a lot from his missus. She is very much in tune with that. And if you can't get a hold of Matt, I'm pretty sure you can get a hold of her, and she will make sure that it is imprinted into his brain.
To be fair, your comedy career is not the reason your wife is pushing you out of the house.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. The ugly mug, right? That's the ugly mug.
There's another reason why we're smoking Duff House though today.
Yep.
Because it's Tuesday.
All right.
And
Okay.
our host, our gracious benefactor that allows us to use the space, Low Side Cigar Lounge, is running Tatuaje Tuesdays.
Nice.
So if you buy, 4 Tatuajes, you get one free.
Get a free
Tatuaje
Kahonu 2018.
Kahonu 2018, which is a
fee of about $18.
great cigar.
Very nice.
You
You get a bonus kicker.
get a kicker out of the deal. So Tatuaje Tuesdays, come on down, Low Side Cigar Lounge, and thank you, Low Side and Matt, for being willing to put up with our shit.
And thank you for those of you who are live audience out there. Your guys' facial expression is priceless. Lets us know that we're doing things right.
Really, all of the benefit is the fact that I get to listen to Jacob talk and then immediately make him stop talking.
Yeah. So with that, I'm Jacob. I'm Michael.
I'm Amy.
Another what the fuck.
Thanks for tuning in, fuckers. Dick.